Well, Andrew Romanoff is the Democrat running against incumbent Senator Michael Bennet, who is heavily backed by the Obama White House. And Mr. Romanoff now joins me from Denver. Thanks for joining us. So 24 hours out or not even, how are you feeling about the race tomorrow?
I feel great. I expect to be the Democratic nominee tomorrow night. 250,000 Democrats have already returned their ballots, but it's not too late for the rest to do so. They just have to be in before 7 p.m. on Tuesday.
So you're running against an incumbent who really is not elected, but rather appointed. Do you consider yourself an outsider? How do you identify yourself with voters?
You know, I'm outside Washington, that's true, so I don't have any experience cutting backroom deals with insurance companies or drug companies or big Wall Street banks. The legislature I led here as Speaker of the House conducted its work in the open. I'm the only candidate in this race who doesn't take any money from special interest groups. In fact, I'm one of the few candidates in America to turn down those contributions. That's why I believe I've got the best chance to reform the pay-to-play political culture that's corrupted Congress.
Let me ask you about that, though, because I'm sure you know the publicity better than most of us, but Tim Marquez, who is an oil executive, said that you came to him some time ago, if I'm reading this right, and asked him for campaign contributions. Wouldn't that be a special interest of sorts?
Well, you know, Tim is supporting my opponent. He's a well-known philanthropist. Let me be clear. What I've said all along, what I will continue to do after I win the primary, is not take a dime from any political action committee. It's impossible to fund your campaign if you turn down contributions from individuals as well. Somebody asked me the other day, shouldn't you avoid taking money from anybody who's employed by any industry? That would leave my campaign funded largely by the jobless and the retired. And I'm grateful to have contributions from those folks too. But the truth is, it's expensive to run a campaign like this. What my opponent is doing, it seems to me, is trying to distract attention from the fact that he has taken $1.3 million from special interest groups. He's one of the top 10 recipients of Wall Street cash. He's got more money from big oil than most of the folks who are running this year. And it's a conflict of interest, I believe. And it's one I can avoid by turning down that kind of corporate cash in the first place.
Now, you're not totally outside the establishment. I think we should tell people that you've been endorsed by former President Bill Clinton. Isn't that right?
That's right. Yeah, I'm proud to have President Clinton's endorsement. And I'm proud of the work I did in the legislature. I'm proud to have built the largest Democratic majority in this state since John Kennedy was president, to have authored an economic recovery plan to help lift Colorado out of a deep recession. I've laid out the most ambitious agenda in America to end our addiction to fossil fuel and accelerate our transition to a new energy economy.
Now, still, though, you are running tomorrow against a candidate backed by the White House. So how do you sell that to Democratic voters? How does it come off that you can win an election there and not run against the Obama White House?
Well, I'm not running against President Obama. It's true that he's made a different decision in this race, and I respect that. I respect him. I support the president, and I'm looking forward to working with him. And I'll tell you, Bob, it is possible to be pro-Obama and pro-Romanoff at the same time. I am, and thousands of Coloradans who, like me, support the president, respectfully point out that this decision gets made in Colorado. It's telling that as our thousands of volunteers are knocking on doors and making phone calls as we speak, there is a phone bank run out of the headquarters of the Democratic National Committee in Washington, D.C., trying to undermine our grassroots effort. That doesn't sit well with a lot of people in this state. I believe it's ultimately likely to be an ineffective approach to have folks in Washington tell us what to do.
And clear up one more thing for me, if you would. What was the extent of the contact from the White House to you in trying to apparently get you out of this race? What happened there?
I got a call from the Deputy Chief of Staff last fall after my intentions to run became clear. He informed me that the president would support my opponent and that 3 positions might be available to me were I not pursuing the Senate race. I told him, no thanks. It's the last contact I had with anybody from the White House. I didn't seek his assistance in finding a job. And the truth is, what most Coloradans want to know is how I'm going to help them get jobs, how we're going to employ the 200,000 people in this state and the 14 million across the country who are out of work.
And also, then, if you win tomorrow, and we have to say that's not a sure thing by any means, but if you win tomorrow, what's your strategy going towards November? And can you move close enough to the middle that you can draw enough Republican voters to win there?
Well, I'm not interested in changing positions or changing my tune after I win tomorrow. You know, Sam Rayburn, as you know, used to be the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, once said, you should always tell the truth because it's easier to remember. So the message we're delivering about changing the way Washington works is a message that has tremendous appeal across the aisle, across our state. It's one of the reasons so many unaffiliated voters have joined the Democratic Party. They can still do that, by the way, between now and 7 p.m. Tomorrow, just by logging on to andrewromanoff.com/vote and following the instructions. It's also one of the reasons lifelong Republicans have switched parties to support my campaign. And it's the reason, in the end, I've got the best chance not just to win the primary tomorrow, but the general election in November.
All right, Andrew Romanoff, thanks very much for joining us today.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.